Alright, hello everybody, Noomsy here. Welcome back to my channel. This is my Scum Life videos. I am actually today going to be doing a video on cooking. I did do the cookbook video where you can find them. You can go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it yet, if you want to know where to get the cookbooks. But this one is all about the actual cooking. The cooking system in this game used to be way less complicated. It used to be you put a piece of meat on the ground next to the fire and wait for it to cook. There might have been a little bit more to it then, I'm not sure, but it's been a while since I've even tried the cooking. Wow, my cannabis is really getting ripe. Anyway, things that I recommend before you start cooking is to get yourself a garden going, because you will need onions, you will need tomatoes, you will need all kinds of vegetables. Fruits, I don't know if I've actually used any fruits yet. I plant them anyway because why not? I got a big enough garden. But I do recommend especially the chili peppers here, the garlics for sure, and tomatoes, onions. Okay, just just go ahead and cook. Go ahead and grow. I grow two of everything: two onions, two tomatoes. Actually, I got four tomatoes going because I started making pizza, which takes a lot of tomatoes. So that is something that I recommend first of all, because it's going to take a day or two, depending on your server, to get this stuff really growing. You can look up how to. The gardens are easy to start, but anyway, I recommend the garden absolutely. And for your setup, I recommend that you use one of these large cabinets. These things preserve food very well, actually, your produce, your fruits, and all your cooked foods, even the raw stuff. So I'd get one, put all of your onions, lettuce, all your stuff in here. You can grow all of the stuff you see here in your garden, except for the mushrooms, of course. And then, obviously, there's other things that you cannot grow. The olives you will need for a few recipes. You cannot grow olives, just like you cannot grow parsnips. The olives, I think you can buy them from the trader. If not, you can actually find them in bushes. I believe they're all over the island, more in some places than others, obviously. I do know that right around the B4 trader out in these fields, there's a lot of a lot of olives you can pick. It might be the same other places, I'm not sure. You'll have to go ahead and check those out for yourself. And the parsnips you cannot grow either. You have to actually buy them from the traders. They do sell them. I think you get them from the general trader. If you can't find what you need at the general trader, you try the saloon. The bartender sells a lot of stuff too. Strawberries I have not found a use for yet. I didn't even know there were strawberries in this game until a few days ago. I don't know if they're new, but haven't found a use for them in cooking yet. So, also mushrooms. You're going to want some mushrooms, especially for your pizzas. Yeah, obviously you go out in the woods and you go out in the woods and you find these. They're all over the place. They're very easy to spot. Do not use the ones that have any red lettering in them. See, this is all gray. That means that you can't eat some of these raw. They're poisonous, but anything that does not have red lettering in it, you can cook into your food and it will be fine. So I recommend picking a variety of different mushrooms. I think they all work exactly the same. I haven't found any recipes that require a certain kind of mushroom but not another one. So I guess experiment with that. I haven't really done it. Apples, there may be an apple pie. I don't know. I haven't tried my pies yet. Now, as far as ingredients, you're going to want to start a pantry. The most frustrating part about cooking is having to get all of this stuff. The soy sauce, spice mix, the oils, the rice, vinegar, even some wine you're going to need for some of your recipes, cheese, even bones. There's some recipes you have to have bones, so that's where the hunting comes in. I know this is a gasoline canister, but I actually fill it with water, because water is let me check it, make sure. Yeah, fresh water, 100%. Water is extremely important. You use water in, I'm pretty sure, every single recipe that you cook. And one of these here, if you fill it with water, or one of the oil bottles, if you fill it with water, that's only 1 liter. Most recipes take like 2 liters of water. Some take more. So I would recommend getting yourself a gas canister, empty it out, and fill it with fresh water from a well, and use that to cook. Cookbooks. The core of the entire cooking system are these books. There are 9 of them total. I made a video previously shows you where to get them. They are the most important part of the cooking system if you don't just want to cook skewers of meat. If you really want to get into the cooking system, you have to get the cookbooks. So watch my other videos, you'll see where to get them. Okay, what you're also going to need is an electric generator. And in some cases, like this gas stove, you will need a gas cylinder. I think I have one in my car. One second. And yes, I do have one. Now all you need to do with this is set it down in the area. It's got a area of effect on it, so we'll put it right there. Okay, in order to cook pretty much all, there's a few recipes you can just cook over by a fire, but in order to cook a lot of the recipes, you are going to need yourself an electric stove, a portable electric stove, some cooking pots, some pans. If you are going to do something that requires a gas stove, obviously a portable gas stove, unless you know there's an oven, which we'll get into in a little bit. You need a portable generator and a gas tank. And it is very important to note that even though it says gas tank, these things do not take gasoline, they take propane, and you have to fill them up at the propane tank, which is at the gas station. You'll see it there. They take money just like the gas does with your card, so you have to have money in your bank account, and you also have to have a debit card on you in order to purchase the propane for these tanks. And of course, these portable electric generators take regular gasoline. So I would recommend having yourself a gas can. Mine's only 20 or 40, but have one of these by your cooking area all the time so that you always have gas in your generator. Now, in order to cook, when you click on these, obviously you have the pot here, you have the pan here. If you want to cook something in your pot, click on the pot. This is all the recipes you can make in the pot. Now, I know all of these already. This would not show up for anybody who's not cooked anything before because you have to actually have the cookbook available. So in order to cook all of these rice dishes, you actually have to have the rice cookbook, which is right here. And to use the rice cookbook, you have to have it in your inventory, and then you cook on it. You click on the pot or the pan, whichever has the rice recipes, and these will all show up. Of course, they're not going to have the star. I put stars next to everything I've already learned just to keep track because I'm actually working on learning everything. But I have learned everything in the rice cookbook. And in order to learn these, let me go ahead and find something easy to cook here. What are my ingredients? Eggs, onions, a can of peas. Yes. Okay, this is a good example here. The pantry has to be stocked with everything. If you just want to cook just the dish with no optional ingredients, this is all you're going to need. But the problem with that is if you're trying to learn the cookbook, if you're trying to learn this ingredient, this recipe, you have to have all of the optional ingredients put in there as well. So I will go ahead and start this. I have everything I need. My pantry's full. I have rice, garlic, eggs, onions. I even have cans of peas, carrots, water, obviously. I got my water here. And the optional salt, pepper, oil, spice mixes, and of course soy sauce. So we're going to go ahead and click down here on this add recipe, which will bring this up here. Everything's grayed out. Now I always add the water first because if you don't have enough water and you have to go get more water after you've put everything in here, I've gotten back before and it's glitched out and you have to start all over again. So the first thing I do is make sure I have all the ingredients. I know that I have all the ingredients because I have pretty much everything. But always check to make sure you have all the ingredients. And when I mean all the ingredients, I mean like the rice here. You need 4 of the rice. They come in bags of 10. If you only have 2, you can't cook this. And also you cannot combine. Let's say I have a bag with 2 in it and another bag with 2 in it. I cannot combine those up here. That only works with liquids for some reason. Doesn't make any sense, but that's the way the game is right now. Anything else with no numbers next to it, it's going to use the whole thing. Like peas, it's going to use 2 of the peas. I'll show you here. Okay, first thing I put in is my water. Once that turns from grayed out to colored and you look and see it's 250 of 250, we're good with the water. I can take my can and put it down here. I prefer that. You need space in here. Now everything that you need, put in your inventory first. So garlic, eggs. I'm going to go into my produce. Garlic. Okay, here's my garlic. So just double click, make sure it's in your inventory. And this is how you make sure you have everything before you start. Go down the list. Pantry, I've got the rice. It takes 4. I can't use this one. I can use this one. I'll go ahead and use this. So there's my rice. Garlic I already have. Eggs are in my raw ingredients. Now you can use any percentage egg. Like this is down to 10%. I've used eggs at 1% before. It's perfectly fine. Once you cook them in, it's going to make the recipe or the food that you make at 100% anyway, so don't worry about that. Of course, I need my onions. So just grab 1 onion. It doesn't show a number, so it's going to use the whole onion. It's going to use the whole egg. Can of peas. Back into my pantry. Here's a can of peas. Carrot. Produce. You can be more organized than this if you want, instead of me going back and forth, but this is how I do it. Salt and pepper. I keep my salt and my pepper in my pantry. And salt, pepper, it takes 2 of 2. I actually have one that has 2, so that's going to use the rest of that one up. Salt is 2 also. Oil, 200 milliliters. I recommend grabbing the smallest one, which would be this one. I think that's going to be 200. I don't know how many milliliters are in each one. We'll find out. And of course the spices mix, it needs 2. So we can use this one here. Soy sauce needs 200 milliliters. Again, I don't know how to check the milliliters on these, so I'm just going to grab the smallest one I got and see if it works. So we have everything. We have the generator going, so the electric stove is ready to go. So now we'll start adding our ingredients. Just drag them over and drop them. 4 of 4. We're good on that one. This is only going to use 1 of the 5, so we'll have 4 left. Egg. You can use a whole egg. Onion. Obviously you can use a whole onion. Now the peas. Like I said, the peas, it doesn't show a number here, so we're going to grab that can of 2, and it's going to use the whole can. I don't like that, but that's the way it is. We'll grab a carrot. Put it on in there. Water we already did. Salt and pepper. Whole bag of salt. It only takes 2 out of the bag. Pepper, same thing. Of course, there's 2 left. Now these are all still here because you haven't started cooking yet, but you'll see them disappear once I click the start. Oil. Now there's only 2 of 10. Let's see if this makes it. Yep, that's 200 milliliters. I think each one is 100 milliliters. I don't know. We'll check it here in a second. Spice mix. Definitely got that, and soy sauce. There's definitely enough soy sauce, I'm sure. Nope, see, now look. 6 out of 10. I believe that 10 out of 10 is 200 milliliters. See, there's only 120 of 200. You have to make sure, because if I click this now and I cook all this, I'm not going to learn the recipe. You have to make sure you have everything full completely. So grab another thing of soy sauce. You can do this with liquids. Add it. Now it's 200, 200, 2 of 2, 200, 2, 2. Everything is checked out. We hit cook, and there we go. Now see, it did use the whole can of peas, 2 of 2. So if it does not have a number, it uses the whole thing. For some reason, the soy sauce is still there. The oil's been all used up. I don't know if this is a glitch. I believe this was 8, it's down to 6. The pepper's gone, this took 1 of that, and the salt, I don't remember what it was, but it took that. Now, as far as the timer goes, depending on the server you're on, some people will have faster server times. This says 9 minutes, but obviously it's not going to be 9 minutes. It's going to be more like maybe 3. So, one awesome feature I like about this, the cooking system, is you can go out of here. Now, you know you're cooking in the pot. It actually shows the food in there. You can hold F or whatever your focus is, whatever it tells you to hold, and you can set an alarm. I usually set mine for like 5 minutes, and it will beep at you, and you're actually setting that alarm on your watch, so you can go in another room and do something else, do other, get other stuff done you need to get done, and while you're doing that, your food will continue to cook. Now you can come back in here and check it yourself. 7 minutes, still going. But let's go ahead and wait for this to cook, and I'll show you exactly when to take it off so that you get a perfect cook and you learn the actual recipe in the book. And there's my cooking reminder. Fried rice even tells me what I have to learn. I get back in here. Now 5 minutes, I shouldn't have done it. With something as quick as this, I recommend putting it on 2 minutes. We can redo it if we want. Because obviously 5 minutes, you can see that the bar here is still blue, which means it's not cooked yet. It actually even shows a shading difference here on the food. Kind of a nice little touch they put there. Now, depending on the length of how long it takes to cook something, this took like 9 minutes. It's not going to start turning green till about 1.5 minutes maybe. For some of the bigger, there's one on here that takes like 71 minutes. That's a long time. You can actually take it off the stove, I think, within 5 minutes of it being done, and it'll be cooked. But what we're waiting for is this blue to turn to green, and this will probably start around 1 minute. There it is, right there. Just turned green. So anytime from the time it turns green down till it hits 0, that's when it's cooked perfectly. All you got to do is click on this, and it shows 5 stars, perfectly cooked. You now know fried rice. Fried rice is now done. You no longer need the cookbook to cook it, but you still need the cookbook to learn the rest of the rice recipes, so don't throw it away just because you learned one rice recipe. You still got all these other things to learn. And if you're looking for what you just cooked after you grab it, it automatically puts it in your hand. Don't look in your inventory, don't look on the ground. It's in your hand. So, don't think it just disappeared. It took me a while to figure out where the heck it went. I was so frustrated. I was like, I just cooked this. I know I grabbed it. I don't know where it's at. So it'll be in your hand. Now, just real quick, obviously a lot of people have already figured this out. The easiest way to cook in this game is to just build yourself a small fire anywhere. You can put it anywhere on the ground. You can make meat skewers, vegetable skewers if you have them, but the easiest thing to make is a meat skewer. Because all you need is the meat, and you can use salt and pepper if you want, but you don't have to because it's not a recipe you have to learn. So if you don't want to use the salt and pepper, you don't have to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and just cook this up really quick, and I'll go ahead and use my salt and pepper if I have it, which actually I do not have any pepper, so I will just use salt and I will show you what happens. It turned green, and now I grab this. Now you can see it says well cooked. I only got 3 out of 5 stars. That's because I did not add the pepper. So if you're missing an ingredient, salt, pepper, any of the optional ingredients, you don't get a perfect cook. And when you're using the cookbooks, you do not learn that you don't learn that recipe. So make sure that you have all of the optional ingredients as well. After you learn the ingredient or the recipe, you don't actually have to cook it perfectly. Again, you can cook it however you want. If you don't have all the ingredients, you just want fried rice with no optional ingredients, you're free to do that. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to grab a couple cookbooks real quick, and we're going to run over to the oven, and I'm going to show you guys what the oven cooking is all about. Okay, this is where we are going to be cooking. When you pull up to one of these places, obviously there's going to be zombies, usually, unless somebody's already cleared it out, or NPCs inside the building. Always make sure it's clear before you get out. Alright, looks like we're clear. What we are here for... Make sure those zombies aren't coming back. Wonder if that bear will come back. Wonder if they hold a grudge. Anyway. Let's go and close this for a second. What we are here for is the stove. Now, there are stoves all over the island, inside of buildings. This one that I'm in right now is right here in C3. There's a little military outpost right here, just southeast of this little lake. This one does have a stove in it that works, but in order to use these stoves, you need two things. First of all, you need... let's see if I can do this. You need a propane tank, which I will go ahead and just put this in my hand. And you can set it down anywhere. You don't actually have to hook it up or anything. It automatically... Boom. There, you see that pilot light just came on, or it's actually, the burner actually comes on, so. And the other thing you're going to need is an electric generator. I always keep one of each in my car in case I come across one of these ovens that I can use. Always close the door so you're safe. Make sure that your generator has fuel in it, because if it doesn't, obviously it's useless. Mine has 98% fuel, so all you got to do, turn it on. That should turn on automatically, maybe, or maybe it's going to wait. Okay, I'm going to show you. Ooh, I don't want to lay that down. 1 second. Cakes. All right, I put my cake cookbook away because I want to show you how this works here. So if I go to cook food, now obviously the gas stove has a lot of slots. It has 4 burners and an oven. I have no pans or pots on this, so these are empty slots. But you can go into the oven. Cakes. I already learned the tea cookies and the bread, but that's all I can see because I haven't learned anything else. I do have a pizza cookbook on me. That's why I'm seeing all these here. Only one I've learned is this pizza capriccio. I ain't going to try to pronounce it. So obviously these are all the things you can make with the pizza cookbook, which I have right here in my inventory. I made this one. I still have to make all these, but the ingredients on some of these, the reason I haven't made them yet because I didn't have the ingredients. You have to make sure you have yeast, cheese, just, oh my god, random stuff, milk. This one's not too bad. I have everything I need. I'm just not going to cook anything. Cooking time, ideal cooking time is 5 minutes, so that actually cooks pretty quick. But back to the cakes. I only have 2 things in the cake cookbook memorized. That's why they're showing up. I don't have the cake cookbook in my inventory. Now, if I go get the cookbook, which I just put in my car, it's by the top. There it is. So if I take the cake cookbook and I put it in my inventory, now, when I click on the oven, all these cakes are available for me to make now. A lot of them I cannot make, first of all, because I do not have any chocolate bars. I have 1. Actually, I might be able to make this, to be honest. Cocoa powder. I don't have cocoa powder. Again, you have to cook the optional ingredients into the recipe or you don't learn it. So, but anyway, as you can see, I've already made these 2. These stars don't show up automatically. I think I already said that, but I just click on them. I put add to favorites after I learn it. That way I know. But it does take everything that you do know and it puts it up at the top, regardless of the alphabetical order or anything. So, anyway, that is something that a lot of people just don't realize about the cooking. Unless you look up videos, you go to cook something, and if you don't have a cookbook in your inventory, take that out and then re-click on here. Oh, they're still there. That's weird. Maybe it just has to be close. Huh. I guess maybe the cookbook just needs to be in the vicinity. Let me take it back out here and see. That's interesting. I got it in my hands. Okay. Put the cookbook back in my car and walk back in. Click. Yep, see, now they're gone. I guess you don't have to actually have it in your inventory. It just has to be close to you, around the area. Maybe you could just take the cookbook, put it on the counter, which makes more sense, I guess. Can't read a cookbook if it's in your pocket, in your backpack. So, hey, that's something, I just learned something new today. So, anyway, make sure if you're going to use an oven, you have to, first of all, you have to find a functional one. They're not all functional. Again, the one I'm in is in C3, right there at this little military base. Again, just make sure you clear out the zombies and the NPCs before you start cooking, because NPCs, if they spawn in, they will come in and they will destroy you. So, always have a weapon when you're cooking. It's a crazy world we live in Scum, so just be mindful of that. Now, if the oven is not actually on right now, this is kind of cool, but if you go to turn on, it actually makes a sound and lights up. I love the attention to detail that they put in this. I'm not cooking anything, so I'm going to turn it off, but anyway, that's it. There you go. Again, these fuel tanks, these propane tanks can be filled up at the gas stations. At the big propane tank, you'll see them there. And regular gas goes in these. Make sure you have both of these and a working oven, and you can cook cakes and pizzas and all the other things that require an oven to cook. Now, the other stuff like the rice dishes that require pots and pans, you can do those all on your portable cookers at your base, as long as you got them in a portable generator. but you absolutely have to have an oven to cook anything that requires an oven, obviously. And as far as I know, there are no portable ovens you can take and put in your base, so you just have to go around and find one of these ovens, which are actually pretty cool. So that's it. That is all I got, people. It's pretty straightforward. The hardest part about cooking is actually getting all of the ingredients that you're going to need. There are so many ingredients in this game. Hold on, buddy. There's so many ingredients in this game that you have to get, so I recommend getting a pantry and then just start collecting. It's going to take you a while, but it's absolutely worth it if you really want to get into the cooking aspect of this game. It's incredibly helpful with your exhaustion. If you look at the ingredients, this one's got 23.9 SU, I don't know what that means, something units maybe, of exhaustion recovery. Plus you got all the energy, protein, carbs, fats, and whatever else it gives you in vitamins. Cooking is definitely a good way to stay in good health in this game. Well, guys, that is it for this video. I appreciate you stopping by. Please like and subscribe, and leave me those comments in the comment section. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. If I don't have the answer, I will look for it for you. If I can't find it, then I guess we're shit out of luck. But thanks again, and you guys have a good one. And for a bonus, here is a video of me trying to run over a bear. Have a good day.